Ayo, back at it again with another video. Thank you all for watching. I greatly appreciate it. So, this is a video that I've wanted to talk about for a little bit now. The whole national sports media landscape, for some reason, does just not like the Hoosiers. Seems to have a hatred for them, and I don't understand why. Because here's the thing: Indiana is not your traditional football power. It's obviously we know that Indiana is a basketball school, but as of the past 2 years, we know that Kurt Signetti has gone on this incredible run. In 2 years, only two losses: one to Notre Dame in the CFP first round last year, and Ohio State last year. But that's the thing. In 2 years, they've had two losses, but yet the national sports media continues to have this burning hatred, or this, the fact they've been very open about it too. Like, Indiana is not your traditional football power. Like, your traditional football powers in the Big Ten are like your Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State. In the SEC, it's more of a Alabama, Georgia, Texas. The national sports media just doesn't like Cinderella stories. And if you look at this, especially in March Madness, they hate that March Madness that there's Cinderellas. I don't know why it is the way it is, but Cinderella stories and stories like this are why sports are the way they are, and sports are fantastic the way they are. Just the national sports media just seems to have this hatred for things that are unpredictable or things that are against the norms. Indiana is this football school now, and the national sports media landscape just seems to just hate it. You know, all you and it's been going on all year, and they were like, oh well, you know, the fact that we didn't see Indiana coming. Yeah, that's kind of the point. Every year, no one saw Texas Tech coming this year. Out of the Big 12, no one expected Texas Tech to dominate the way they did. No one expected BYU to dominate the way they did. If you look at the SEC, you had your pretty consistent actors there at the top of the standings, but you didn't expect Ole Miss to be as consistent as they were this year. They're a Final Four team in the college football playoff. No one anticipated Miami to do this. The fact that the national sports media just has this hatred for Cinderella stories and Cinderella runs is just mind-boggling to me, because you look at the Final Four, you have Oregon, which I would consider a more traditional football power, especially in the past couple decades. Miami is not someone you would anticipate to make the Final Four of the playoffs. Ole Miss is not someone you would expect to make it. When Miami beat Ohio State, everyone was so shocked and so surprised that how could it possibly be? They played a better game of football than Ohio State did. And when Ole Miss won, they were like, "Well, how did Georgia lose?" They just didn't play a complete game of football. Indiana this year is 14-0. They demolished top 10 ranked Illinois, made them look like an FCS team. You look at the Oregon game, Penn State game, Ohio State game, Alabama. Last year everyone was like, "Oh, Indiana played a cupcake schedule." This year, they can't use that excuse, because Indiana played three quarterfinals teams. Ohio State was a quarterfinalist in the CFP playoffs, Oregon, and then they ultimately beat Alabama. I was at the Alabama game. I was at the Indiana-Alabama game at the Rose Bowl. It was a fantastic game. Alabama's rushing attack was non-existent. What they had, maybe anywhere from 50 to 100 yards of rushing. If you're one-dimensional that way, you're not going to score many points, and they ultimately ended up scoring only 3 points. The national sports media just has this hatred for underdogs and Cinderella stories, and especially against Indiana and the Hoosiers. To me, it's frustrating, because it's like, this is what sports are all about. Cinderella stories, underdogs. These four teams are the teams that no one probably would have predicted at the beginning of the year to be CFP Final Four contenders. Everyone would have predicted Ohio State or Penn State or Michigan or Texas or Alabama or Georgia. Like, the four teams, especially Indiana, no one gave them a chance. And yet here they are. And the national sports media continues to hate. And watch, Indiana is going to continue to be good. I think they're going to beat Oregon, because they've already shown they can. And then I think Miami wins. You have Indiana, Miami. I think that's a solid game. Even if Indiana beats Oregon and Ole Miss wins, I think that's a incredible national championship because those would be two teams nobody would have anticipated. So, yeah, this is just a rant, but it's true. The hatred from the national sports media is very well documented. They're very open about it, and I don't quite understand why. It's like they haven't been paying attention, or they're just trying to clickbait, or they're just trying to rage bait, just to see if people would interact with the content. But yeah, they definitely have a hatred, and it's frustrating, but it is what it is. That's how they are trying to clickbait. That's how they're trying to rage bait. So this is my 2 cents on the issue. With that, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Deuces.